Your body and brain seem to be very symmetrical. This has practical reasons, and almost all of the bigger species seem to be like that. There are some exceptions, like your heart, liver, digestive tract, and also the function of your brain. For instance, language processing is dominant in one side of the brain. 95% of right-handed people have it in the left hemisphere. This is important when you consider to cut your brain in half. Wait, what? This type of surgery is actually performed in patients suffering from epilepsy. Interestingly, it was found that people who had this surgery had their hemispheres disagree on questions and everyday actions. It is possible to set one brain half asleep to, for example, test where your language side is. This is typically done before the actual surgery and is called the WADA test. So you kind of have a mute side in your head that can hear and process but not talk, yet act on questions by picking up objects. It usually communicates with the other hemisphere when you didn't cut the connection. There's a good video regarding which of those halves are you by CGP Gray. Keep in mind that what you see and hear switches the side of your brain. So what is sensed with the right side will be processed by the left hemisphere. This is called decussation and goes with almost all sensory input and muscle control in all vertebrates. But did you ever wonder why? There are some exceptions. Your tongue is actually controlled by both sides of your brain, but still has its nerves switched from left to right. To find out why this evolved, we'd have to go way back to when it evolved. So let me go through some answers or theories I found on that. One that I found was that our early ancestors, which supposedly were some kind of fish, had this as a protection mechanism. If a predator came from the right side, it would see it with the right eye. According to this explanation, the fish would turn to its left faster when the right hemisphere connected to his right eye could immediately act to turn the fish to the left. Can you spot the flaw? Well, as I mentioned earlier, your vision is crossed as well. Actually, even that is not quite true. At least in humans, the right field of view is processed in the left hemisphere. And not only what comes from the right eye. This is not covered by the logic of this explanation, since its premise is that the signal from the right eye goes to the right hemisphere. Some people state that the crossover of neurons is good for integrating the signals from both sides of the organism. Furthermore, it was taught in schools that an attack from a predator on the right side would damage the right hemisphere. It would leave animals with their right limbs controlled by the left, intact part of the brain to fight the predator. But this explanation still doesn't seem perfect to me, because then wouldn't it be more useful if all parts of the body were always linked to both sides? Here I present you with a more detailed answer, which I like the most. You have to imagine something in the evolution at least 500 million years ago. If you've seen SpongeBob, you know that a kind of fish exists that has both eyes on one side. This side became its upper side at some point in the evolution, because the fish evolved to live flat on the seafloor. It must have evolved from another fish, since the rest of its body symmetry is sideways. Kind of like a fish laying on the side, evolving their eyes on the new top. What does this have to do with us humans? Well, there we have our first 90 degrees turn. For fish, it still was an advantage to be symmetrical in terms of movement. So it further evolved to regain symmetry by twisting the body. It can be seen in the embryonic states of zebrafish that a clockwise turn of the head and an anti-clockwise turn of the body occurs. It is proposed that both directions for the second 90 degrees turn have evolved, and we, humans, happen to be ancestors of the kind of vertebrate that had two 90-degree turns in opposite directions. Head and body turn in different ways. This might even be the link to the prevalence of right-handedness in humans. Laying on its left, those fish would use their right side much more to interact with anything above, or use the same fin to move through water. But then why on the left? Why would they? This is open for speculation, but it could be due to the environment. It might include the position of the sun, the place on Earth on which the fish evolved, and the direction of currents in the sea. It also may have happened just by accident. We simply don't know. And that's about it. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like or comment below. Thanks for watching, see you in another one.